Shane Lynch, cantante della boy band irlandese Boyzone, che si è sciolta nel 2019, ha parlato varie volte della sua conversione al Cristianesimo, avvenuta dopo anni trascorsi nell'oscuro mondo dell'occulto e della stregoneria. Quella che segue è una clip tratta da una recente intervista in cui ha rivelato alcuni inquietanti dettagli sull'industria musicale e i suoi profondi legami con il satanismo.
I mean, I've heard you talk about the harder parts of, in the past and in other interviews, you talked about the harder parts of that time in Boyzone, and it would be good to explore some of that with you today. You did start drinking, didn't you? And you kind of got into a bit of a spot of bother and swearing on camera and fights with Puff Daddy and all sorts.
Yeah, there's all sorts. Shenanigans, we call it.
That's a word for it. What do you think, was it that sense of monotony that led you towards that just kind of destructive behaviour, or was it something else?
The industry is destructive. So let me take it straight to God, and straight to the world as a spiritual world. We have the Holy Spirit that guides us and protects us in the name of Christ. But the spirits, multiple and plural, that the demonic side of the music industry is very real too. That's how I came to God, through understanding the demonic side. So I think the industry has a way of just taking control of you in many self-destruct scenarios. I was certainly interested in being mysterious. It gave me a character. It gave me some substance that I could hold on to. And why I did that, or why I portrayed myself in those ways, I don't know. Maybe I was trying to prove something out of a boy band scenario, perhaps. But also, it intrigued me, the world, the darker side of the world, the Ouija boards, seances, all that kind of spiritual tarot card reading, all that kind of stuff really got a hold of me. And interestingly, that all came from our very first album launch, which you would look at very innocently, because it was around Halloween. It was a Halloween party in a big mansion, but in that was super demonic. But for this young kids, it's a bit of fun. All the record company are there, and all the journalists are there, and here we go. But when I look at the way the industry has the ruling over music, now, of course, not all music is bad. By all means, it's not. But majority of it there is to take you away from Christ. 100% take you away from Christ.
In terms of the lyrics, is that what you mean? Or do you mean the industry itself, people, the big players in the industry?
Both, lyrically, and both big players. Both. I've been in rooms at the top of the top, which albums are prayed over demonically. Music is prayed over demonically. That goes out to the world, goes out to the radio stations, goes out to the public. And when you see that stuff and know that stuff, it's frightening.
What do you mean by that, Shane, prayed over demonically?
So rituals, ceremonies, everything to bring, to give light to the devil, to Satan. It's a satanic music industry. That's majority of what it is.
Do you mean figuratively, or do you mean literally you've been in...
Literally, yes.
And
figuratively.
Can you share what those albums were? Were they your albums?
No, they weren't our albums, no. They were not Boyzone albums. So that's what I mean by not every music is that. But it was on the stepping stone to that. So you're going back to the 1993s into 2000s. And then if you look at what the music is today, the industry is today, for all your Sam Smiths to your Dojo Cats to your Beyoncés they are so demonic, it's unbelievable. And we can't, it's in front of us. It's something that we kind of go, oh, it's just music. But it really isn't. It's absolutely taken over the world, taken over our children, and taken over everything that's coming to the times of world crisis.
And are you talking about the messages that are in some of those songs, some of those artists, share with their fans?
Yeah, messages and the glorification of Satan.
And it certainly had some kind of influence on you, because as you said that you started to get very drawn into the dark side, and you were interested in witchcraft and Ouija boards, and that led to some very dark experiences for you personally. Can you tell us a bit about what those were and how those came about?
It came about just through opening those doors. You know, we've got to be very careful on what doors we knock on. And as soon as you start innocently doing a tarot reading or a Ouija board or a seance or whatever them fun things as kids that we mess around with, you're giving grounds to the dark side. Of course you are. You're now engaged. You've opened the door. And once you open doors, they have the rights. They have the rights to come in. And I opened many doors and found myself in a very, very angry, very dark place, self-destruct place, violent place. And at one point of all of that, I don't think I was quite suicidal, but in the industry that I was in, the press itself was, quite, with the whole, I'll say, phone hacking side of things and everything that went on, and the paranoia, and, a lot of us celebrities are and have been through cases of all of that, which led to a lot of destruction. So the press themselves are even on a destructive path. And with that, just for me came a very, very, very dark place.
I mean, your autobiography talks about, all kinds of things, being locked into your body, having demons come and breathe in your ear, levitating beds. I mean, it's pretty out there. But you experienced that. So when people kind of say to you, surely not, like that's nonsense, or, maybe that's in your mind, or maybe that, what do you say to them?
I'd say the devil's doing a great job of diverting your truths, and Hollywood is doing a great job of it too, because that's what it's there to do, is to make you think it's all nonsense, of course. And if you think it's all nonsense, then the devil's laughing, and it's very real. And if you're a Christian and you understand the Bible talks about demons. That means it's real. If you understand the Bible is real, all of that's not in there for no reason. So just because you've never seen it, and I wish you never do, if you've never been a part of it, but you still have to understand it's biblical. And luckily for me, it was biblical. And luckily for me, it's how I found God, because I knew the dark so well. I knew they were real. I hung out with them, which means, well, if you're real, surely God is real. And that's kind of my flip journey of how I had to get out of where I was.
Se apprezzi i contenuti di questo canale e vuoi aiutarci a produrli, da oggi puoi farlo facilmente abbonandoti al canale, scegliendo uno dei 3 livelli disponibili. Attivando un abbonamento otterrai alcuni vantaggi e avrai accesso a dei contenuti esclusivi. Se in questo momento non vuoi attivare un abbonamento, puoi sempre sostenerci condividendo il video e iscrivendoti al canale. Grazie di cuore per il tuo aiuto.